Richard and Karl Play Daggerheart is a Richard and Karl product owned by the non-existent Richard and Karl Corporation. We're independent creators. Give us money.
Yeah, together we independently create things.
That's an
The other
interesting
voice
note.
was Richard.
You know what would have been really funny, though, is if we switched the names around for the Daggerheart one. Like, I regret not doing that bit.
My name is Karl. I am the player, and Richard is the DM for our Daggerheart adventures.
And he works for me. Would be amazing. Because it's fine to be like, duh, the DM's not in charge here. It's like, how is that even possible? It's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so for those uninitiated who've decided to start on episode 7 or 8 or wherever we are, we play Daggerheart.
Mm-hmm.
We usually start with a what's new with each other section, and then we'll give a bit of a recap, and then throw into the game proper. I feel like giving Daggerheart a shout out, they just launched pre-orders for their first expansion coming out.
Nice.
So it's a full book that has like Blood Domain and Dread Domain, and it looks like a lot of their polished, refined versions of their play test stuff, plus a bunch of quote-unquote other stuff. They don't pay us for this podcast, but they have entertained me a fair bit recently, and they give out a lot of their stuff, like their SRD agreements and things are pretty good, so... Honestly, if you want to go steal their game, it's really easy to steal. They just kind of give you everything you need to play it. And I tend to find that when people just let me play their product, I tend to then give them money. Because I don't have to. It's like a reverse Stockholm power trip thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my not sponsorship blurb. So, what's new in the Karl world?
Sponsored.
Or the Karl realms? Yeah, the Karl realms.
Well, so hopefully this is the end of my podcast or the medical journey.
Uh-oh. That's... So, I'm going to repeat back to you what you just said, right? Hopefully this is the end of me giving you medical updates. Is the most, like, foreshadowing I'm going to die statement anyone's ever... Like, are you just going to be like, this is the last time I give you medical updates because I'm in palliative care? Like...
No, I already did the Wi-Fi is bad at the hospital bit, so that's too... not going for that again. And that was foreshadowing back on April Fool's Day.
Yep. Oh no. No one should ever accidentally foreshadow real life. That's just unfortunate.
Okay. But so, I was referred to a neurologist that happens to work at the MS Society, and you know that makes sense. MS is a neurological condition. But the reason I was referred is because I got an MRI, and there were bright spots in my brain. And the neuro-ophthalmologist, who was the one that ordered the MRI, said that she didn't think it was anything, but she wanted a second opinion.
Yes.
So then she told me that she referred me to the MS Society. So they call me up, and they're like, yeah, you know, you got referred to the neurologist here. We're going to schedule you an appointment. And they, they give me the date, the time, and the place. And then they're like, yeah, we'll, what's your email? We'll confirm this information with you via email. I'm like, oh yeah. So I give them my email.
Please tell me it's not Karl.poop anymore.
I don't have access to Karl.poop. It's actually Karl.not.poop. I don't generally use that one. Usually I use King Karhiko.
Like, as much as I love to dox you, that is a particularly funny thing to give a doctor.
My very first email I ever made was with Hotmail. Circa 2003-ish. Yeah. Anyway, so very first email, and I love my email address, but easy to remember, hard to spell, especially seeing as it's a misspelling of a word that actually isn't technically correct.
Man, you'd be roasted in the humanities for cultural appropriation.
I don't follow, but okay.
You may continue.
Anyways, so I spelled out my email for them, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll send you the details." And they didn't.
Yep.
And I neglected to write this appointment down in my calendar. So I knew the date, and I knew the place, but I had forgotten what time my appointment was. Not a big deal. Call the
Time to go
hospital,
there and
find out
sit
when my
there for
appointment
30
is.
hours. Got it.
No. I was going to call the hospital and confirm when my appointment actually was.
That is much smarter than a lot of anxious people I have as either coworkers or students who would just go there at like 4 in the morning and sit there all day till they're called. Because that's less stressful than sending the email.
I actually attempted to call them, and so the day before my appointment, I give them a call, and someone picks up and they're like, "City Hospital Circuit Board, how can I direct your call?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got a schedule with this neurologist. I don't know the doctor's name. I don't know the time, so I need to confirm my appointment." And they're like, "Okay, we'll put you through to registration." Goes to registration, they hang up on me. What? Okay, whatever. Call again. a little bit shorter. I'm like, okay, I just need to confirm what time my appointment is for tomorrow. They're like, okay, we'll put you through to registration. Go to registration. Hangs up with me again. So I'm like, well, I really need to know. So I'm gonna try one more time. Third time's the charm. I get through to registration. They pick up and they're like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I was like, "Okay, I have an appointment tomorrow, but they never sent me the confirmation of the details, and I don't remember what time it is." And then she's like, "Oh, well, we don't actually see appointments until the day of, so you'll have to call tomorrow after 5:30 a.m."
Why? Computers were invented. Is this a Saskatoon
don't
thing or
know.
a Canada thing? Ugh.
I have no idea. But you know, whatever. I'll just set an alarm to get up at 6:30 in the morning because I'm reasonably confident that
Don't
my
be a
appointment
me.
wasn't at like
That's just
7.
my life I live. I don't recommend it.
But so I get up, I give them a call. They answer right away this time, which is great. They're like, "Yeah, your appointment's at 9:30." It's like, all right, I will be there. So I get to the hospital, and one thing I learned from all my hospital visits is that it's worthwhile to have the parking app on your phone if you're going in for any type of surgery because you'll be at the hospital a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
B, you never know how long you're going to be at the hospital for, so it's a good idea to overpay for parking, which they probably make tons of money off of people overpaying for parking, but you just don't know how long you're going to be there.
I mean, if anyone's scamming people, I'm kind of fine with it being the hospital. If they're like just score, and let's say they don't own their own parking, in which case, fuck them.
But so I pay for 5 hours. You're not allowed to pay for 6 hours. After 6 hours, they just make you pay for the whole day, which is, you know, the difference between 5 hours and 6 hours is the same as a single hour, but you get the whole day. But I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to be here all day. But 5 hours, let's just pay that for now. Go in, get the registration, and they put the little bracelet on, and then they're like, "Okay, do you know where you're going?" It's like, "No, I don't know where I'm going." You know, I mean, I didn't say this to the registration desk, and I'm sure they have lots of people who've been to the MS Society multiple times and know exactly where they're going. But I've never been there because I don't know anyone who has MS. Like, why would I go to the MS Society?
Exactly. Oh, go give them money or volunteer. Be a good person. I don't
know. But they're like, "Okay, let's 7th floor in the rehabilitation clinic." Okay, fair enough. Take the elevator to the 7th floor. I've found, I mean, I guess I can't speak for all hospitals, but
sure you can.
Hospital.
Go for it. Speak for all hospitals right now. You got my permission. Go for it.
Well, hospitals and airports too, in my experience, They seem like they would be big, confusing messes, but in general, they're actually well marked, and it's easy to find where you need to go at any given time. There's just big signs. You just got to be careful you're watching for the signs.
This went far more
Some
optimistic
hospitals
than
even
I was
have like
expecting. You're like, the thing about hospitals is they're well organized. I'm like, huh, what a twist, actually. That's
well, I mean,
okay.
um, I, sometimes the different departments in the city hospital, in particular, uh, are like, you get there and it's like, am I in the right place? Because like this is just a hallway with chairs.
Well, I'm going to tell you a
Uh,
bit about downtown Toronto and then let you continue your story because it is pertinent.
okay.
So, the
Mm,
college I go to, I spend most of my time in a lounge on the 10th floor in a building.
mm,
Attached to that building, I can either exit the door to walk to another building,
mm,
take a bridge on the 3rd floor, take a different bridge on the 3rd floor, or take the underground tunnel on the 0th floor. So
mm,
these buildings are all kind of attached together, but not really. In theory, if you leave Union Station, there's enough underground connecting pathways to get entirely the 12 blocks it takes to get to my school without once being hit by natural light. So
mm.
the confusion of trying to find something in this web of interconnected buildings with my navigational skills being literally non-existent. You're like, "Oh yeah, some hospital floors are confusing." I'm like, "The floors are labeled? The floors are labeled?" With like vicious glee and excitement. Please
Uh,
label things, guys. Like, do you know the difference between
mm.
Kearns Hall North and Kearns Hall South? You think one would be to the north and one would be to the south. But how can you tell that underground?
I will agree. I have found that universities are not well labeled and are extremely confusing. You actually, for the first little while, will probably need a map to figure out where you're going. But hospitals, reasonably easy to navigate.
Hmm.
So I get up to the 7th floor uh, and follow the signs to the rehabilitation clinic. I get to the reception for the rehabilitation clinic, and they have a little sign that says MS Society this way. So I'm just going to walk past the front desk, and the front desk lady is like, "Oh, excuse me, where are you off to?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm off to the MS Society." He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's the right way." Great. Walk down the hallway. I get to the pregnant hallway with chairs.
Mhm.
But there's no reception where I expected a reception to be. There's just it was an open door, but it just said MS Society office. And there's this lady sitting, like, she's on the phone, she's at a computer, and she's not facing the door. And it's like, I don't really want to interrupt this person who's on the phone to give them my intake papers.
Mhm.
But I'm like, what? There's no like reception desk. Where do I even go? So I wandered a little further around, kind of like peek around the corner, like, who do I give my papers to? And then someone like they like appear and they're like, "Oh, I'll take this for you," and they tell me to sit and wait.
Mhm.
um, so I'm sitting, I'm waiting, playing a game on my phone. Nurse comes up, like, "I'm such and such nurse. I'm sorry, I don't remember their name." Plus, I
No,
mean, well, I don't want to dox the nurse.
yeah, you had such a free path to not look like you forgot their name. You're like, no, I'm going to confess that I don't know this person. I'm going to protect their identity, but I want you to know that I also simply didn't care.
It's not by choice.
Simply didn't care. Understood. Glad you took the time and the airwaves to be like, I could have learned their name, but like, if they were really good, they would have been a doctor, not a nurse.
You can be a doctor of nursing.
Yeah, we did have this conversation. This is true. But please continue with. I assume the story is going somewhere. For
Well, I mean,
context,
yeah.
while the story is going, I've been looking up like raccoon pattern dress shirts.
Anyways, um, so like when I went to the neuro-ophthalmologist,
God, that's a cool
they really
title.
just they really just did ophthalmologist tests. Like they did all the eyesight exams and all that stuff. And when I actually got to see the actual doctor, um, they were just like, yeah, this is what happened. This is what I think it is. I'm going to refer you to the neurologist for a second opinion or whatever, or to the MRI for the to be safe. And then when I go to the neurologist, the nurse comes up and she's like, okay, we're going to do some of these like little tests. It's like, walk, say like 20 feet as quickly as possible. And then she writes down how long it took you, and then you turn around, and you walk back as quickly as possible. They write down how long that took you.
I know this isn't where you're going with this, but I desperately want you to have Naruto ran down a hallway at the hospital.
No, you're supposed to walk as quickly as you can safely.
Yeah, with your hands behind you, as it goes. That's how you go quickly.
No, I did not Naruto run down the hallway. I just
You'll never get this chance again in your life. Wasted
it. So then we go into the private room, and she like gets me to do this little like peg test where you have to pick up. You do it with both hands, but one hand you pick up the pegs, you put them in the holes, and then you pick them out of the holes and put them back in the dish, and then you switch and do it with the other hand, and they time you on how long it takes you to do the little peg test. And then they have like this little like sheet. It's like a cipher for numbers.
Ooh.
So numbers 1 through 9, and then they have a symbol, and then you're supposed to follow along on the chart and state which number is which symbol, and then they see how far you get on the chart. And I mean, I don't know how I did. I didn't manage to complete the page, but whatever. I hope I'm, okay, I guess.
Is that where the story ends?
No. Then she asks me a whole bunch of symptom-related questions. She's like, "Oh, do you have any of these symptoms?" It's all the symptoms for MS.
Yeah.
And I was like, I go through it all. I was like, no, none of that. And she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go give this to the neurologist, Dr. Ballantyne.
That's so funny, and I can't actually tell you why, but please continue. I literally cannot tell you why, but that's really funny.
But so then she leaves the room. I'm sitting there for another like 10-15 minutes. But in the meantime, I have to fill out like a electronic communication consent form. I found this out with the neurologist. If you don't have the consent form, they cannot send you any medical information via email.
That makes all of the sense to me, honestly.
Yeah, so like I'm speaking of the neurologist, I guess, I have to do weekly blood work, and I lost my requisition form 2 weeks in a row, actually.
I almost thought you were about to say, and I lost my blood. I cannot find my blood anymore. I'm like, that's a problem.
I don't know where it went. I lost my requisition form 2 weeks in a row. I get to the blood clinic, and I just don't have my requisition form, and it's like, so I had to call the hematologist, and the receptionist was very nice, and she faxed the requisition form over to them. And the second time I lost it, I was like, hey, can you just like email it to me, so if I lose it, I can just print it off myself? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, no, you haven't signed the consent form, so we can't do that.
Weirdly makes perfect sense to me. Like
it does make sense.
Like, not everyone's us, and we just say our private medical information on a publicly available podcast. Like, some people do actually believe in privacy. Not us at all. We've proven this time and time again that we do not seem to care about our own privacy or the privacy of those around us, but we probably should.
Anyways, so I have to sign this consent form at the neurologist's office. And then there was like a little questionnaire about whether or not the person who came to see me washed their hands before and after they left.
That's important. They don't want to get any Karl
But then
stuff on them.
lastly, there was like a consent form to have them keep my information in a medical database, and also to participate in further MS studies, or at least I assume they're for MS research studies, but just
Further studies.
Clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess I haven't seen the neurologist yet, but I'm reasonably certain I don't have MS. So, like, why would I sign up for this research study? I don't think they're ever going to need me.
Well, maybe they need people who don't have MS to use as the test group for things they would test on people with MS.
Well,
Don't be selfish with your personal information, Karl. Give it to databases.
I do have to wonder how often people get referred to the MS Society when they don't actually have MS. Because apparently there are neurologists that work at other hospitals in the city, which was a surprise. But the MS Society is specifically at the city hospital, and that is specifically where I got referred to.
Okay.
So like I don't. I opted not to sign up for the research because I was like, I don't really want to be contacted for further research, and I don't think I'll be a useful subject in this case.
Got it. You don't care if people die and you're selfish. Understood. It's fine. Not everyone has to be a good person, Karl.
Finally, the neurologist shows up, and she's all like, yeah, we don't think you have MS.
Yay!
Apparently, bright spots in your brain when you get a medical imaging, but the bright spots in your brain are somewhat like freckles, where
wasn't expecting that. That would be real.
Most of the time, they are completely benign. Every now and then, they could be a sign of something more serious, but it's just a normal part of aging that you just get bright spots in your brain. And the bright spots in my brain were not the right size, shape, or location to be MS.
This sounds like a victory. Also, it would have been really funny if you came on our podcast and then ended with, so I didn't tell you this over a text to the phone, but I decided publicly on our D&D podcast, Daggerheart podcast, dang it, I am going to trauma dump this on you. Enjoy. That would have actually been like the flex of a century. So it turns out I have MS. Just thought this is the ideal place and time to tell you.
See you at my wedding.
There's so many implications that just works its way into that. That in particular, they're like, oh, by the way, I'm like, wait, does your fiance, like, oh no, there's so many layers.
Anyways, but she does a few more neurological tests. The weirdest one, like she did like the hammer reflex test thing where she strikes your joints and sees whether or not your reflexes are working. And,
yeah.
But the weirdest one was where she like scraped the bottom of my feet with a popsicle stick.
I hate that. Oh no.
Tongue depressor, if you prefer, but. And then after that, she like took a literal wooden toothpick and just like, oh, does this feel pokey? And she just poked my hands and arms and legs and feet and stuff. I was like, yeah, that all feels pokey. And she's like, oh yeah, so yeah, pretty sure you don't have MS. Your the white spots are like freckles, blah blah blah. You're good to go. And yay. So like I thought, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. So like I said, I wasn't sure how long this would be. I had gotten there around 9 o'clock, and luckily, I feel slightly annoyed that I once again overpaid for parking, but I was done by 10:30.
Nice.
And then I was from there. I had to go straight to work.
Your life sometimes, man. So what I keep thinking from this though is it's like you go in and be like, I don't have MS. I gotta wonder around which test your brain starts going, but maybe I do, just simply because you're there being tested for it. Because I have to imagine at some point, like, the creeping down of, I don't have it, but they're stabbing me in the leg with a popsicle stick right now, and I gotta wonder, maybe I do, in fact, have something. Just simply from, like, they keep testing you. Like, well, at some point your brain's gotta think, maybe there's something going on here I'm not aware of.
Well, I'm sure there are some people whose brains do work that way. As I had mentioned, I believe this was on our Richard Karl Presents podcast, but I mentioned that the neuro-ophthalmologist, they called me to inform me that they had referred me to the neurologist, and they wanted to make sure that I knew that it was going to come from the MS
Yeah.
Society, because there are people who would be immediately freaked out that they're getting referral to a neurologist at
Immediately
the
and
MS Society.
reasonably. Like, I want to put in that, like, yes, they would be freaked out, as they should be. Because that is terrifying.
And then, as you say, doing all these tests, there are also people who would just, they would become quite worried that maybe they're not fast enough at the PEG test, or didn't get far enough down the sheet on the cipher test or whatever. But that's just not how my brain works. I was just like, okay,
That's how my brain
whatever
works.
the
I'd be
test
like, oh
results
god,
are.
if I fail the PEG test, I get MS. That's how that works, right? Oh god.
But so yeah, I mean, kind of an anticlimactic story. I mean, the ending is I overpaid for parking.
I mean, to be fair, no
but
real world doctor appointment should ever feel like an episode of House. Seems like like that's bad.
As a side note, there's also a show called Monk, which had a similar problem. But basically, House, the timeline is a little bit hazy in House. Like, you don't really know how much time has actually passed in an episode or in between episodes. But like, I guess it's the United States, so there could just be that many bizarre, quote unquote, unsolvable cases.
Oh, I fully believe that.
But at some point, it's like, really, he has another case that's just wasn't lupus.
Well, I just think it'd be really fun. You know what's crazy though? To throw this back at you a little bit. How good would I mean this unironically, would the show be better if not every mystery was a mystery, and sometimes it's like he does all this, it's like, no, he just has a cold? Like, would the medical mystery show be better if the professional overthought them some of the times and was just wrong?
Well, so I've talked to this about this to my fiance. So many shows, in my opinion, overstay their welcome. Like I mentioned, the show Monk, this guy has like a psychological breakdown after his wife is murdered, and he develops OCD, and then he becomes a private investigator to try and solve his wife's murder, and ends up running into all sorts of other murders all over the place, and helping solve them. And in the episode where he gets knocked out, falls into the back of a garbage truck, and gets carried to another town, wakes up with amnesia, and then finds and solves a murder.
Yep, seems legit.
I was like,
this show's done. Cancel.
Yeah, no. How does he goes on vacation and someone gets murdered in the hotel he's staying? No, how? What are the odds?
Literally zero.
Probably. In any event, I often find if a show doesn't pivot at a certain point, then it kind of breaks my suspension of disbelief, because the plot keeps repeating over and over again, and it's like, how does this keep happening? But if it does pivot, then it's like, well, is this the same show that I was actually watching before? Like, what is even going on here?
I mean, the solution is to JoJo's it. It's the hardest thing to do in the world. But, like, if you could actually pull a JoJo's and just do a time skip, follow other characters, and have it loosely connected, you can do that forever.
Well, anyways, now that our medical drama show has pivoted into a literary analysis show, what's new with you there, Richard?
I hate how well played that was. Let's see. So, shocking some people, I'm a student.
Mhm.
And I'm getting near the end of the semester and having to write these big, large-scale papers.
Mhm.
But yesterday, one of my papers got accepted for a conference. So I'm sitting in the study hall with my classmates like you're expecting from any college drama you've ever seen. And I'm like,
Mhm.
crap. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, I sent in this application for this conference largely as a bluff to be like, oh, I send in things all the time. I get a lot of rejection letters. I'm a writer. I'm like, crap. Now I actually have to present my paper I haven't finished writing yet at a conference in 2 weeks. And I'm like, curse my own success. Now I have to go get paid to go talk about the Ghost in the Shell for 15 minutes at a conference. And I'm like, that might finally give me the motivation I need to like finish writing this paper. But I
Mhm.
just find it
Mhm.
funny because it's like the actual advice I got from my mentor is apply first, and then if you get in, worry about writing the paper. And I'm like, apparently
That's
that's
pretty
just what
funny.
everyone does. So
So, did you just like submit your abstract for the paper, or like how do you
yeah, I
apply
submit my
without any paper?
abstract. I
Yeah.
submit my
Okay.
abstract, which tells them all about this paper I plan to write, and now I got accepted, so now I
Hmm.
have to be prepared to actually do the thing.
That's pretty funny.
Right? So it's like I have to go give this presentation, and then I sent an abstract to another conference to give a presentation, because it's like I wrote 2 big papers, so I'm like, oh, I have these papers coming, I'll send them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, conferences. So now I get to go to conferences and things, and it's been like this weekend I have. The thing is, I'm so cluster-brained and so ADHD, it always baffles me when I'm ahead of the rest of my class because, like, my brain barely functions on a good day.
Mm.
But I am actually in a pretty good position right now. So now I just have to finish writing these large papers and do a couple
Mm-hmm.
small assignments, and I pretty much should be able to, like, wrap up my schoolwork for the semester early.
Nice.
And that'll let me proceed to then start sending out doctorate forms because I enjoy being a professional student.
Right now, you're only a master of being a professional student. You need to be a doctor
Well, what's funny
if
is like once you get to a certain level of schooling with
you're a
funding and
professional
payment,
student.
I'm already at the point where I'm making as much money as I did as a kitchen manager by just being a student.
Mm.
So it's like my
Yeah, that
life's
makes
just
sense.
better. Like me and my cohort, it was someone's birthday, so we went for bar trivia after class. Where I only got nerd
Mm-hmm.
question rights. I got vulcanized right as a question that was about a form of rubber that's also a Star Trek character. And I got Princess Amidala right. And then
Okay.
it's like, what about music and books and movies? Like, I don't know these things. I'm a writer. I'm a professional liar. I don't know things and facts. That's not what I do. Nothing I've ever said should be taken as fact. These papers are definitely just because I'm a
Right.
storyteller and I'm able to bullshit my way enough to make a convincing statement. Don't believe in me. That's just foolishness. So, long story short,
Side note.
yeah, go ahead.
Just a side note. We're a parody comedy podcast. So don't cite us as a legitimate source.
Nope. Nothing. Everything I say here publicly on the internet is in confidence, okay, guys? Like, could you imagine, like, if I sent, like, hundreds of emails that were potentially scandalous and then they got leaked by the Supreme Court? Like, no, everything I say is private, of course.
Of course. So yeah, don't go spreading my private medical information over the internet.
uh, I do think you should have checked the research box because maybe they could have did something of value from you.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. It's a personal choice to make and you made it wrong. uh,
So is there anything else new with you besides the trivia night and
Oh, I'm sorry that
conference
my abstract
acceptance?
being accepted for an academic conference on the future of communication is an interesting news compared to your anecdote about hallway placement. I'm sorry, I'm not interesting.
You are interesting. It's just despite being a professional writer, you're not as much of a storyteller.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to storytell for the next hour and a half.
Fair enough. You are an excellent storyteller.
Well, that's the a joke. Like, my personal life is actually, like, I love to tell people I'm interesting in theory and boring in practice. And it really comes down to how interesting I feel like being at any given day. Because I can make, like, my mundane nonsense sound fascinating. I could be like, as I swim through the wave of people listening to my book of quantum physics on audiobook, I see a raccoon attacked by a goose. Like, I can make my day-to-day fascinating. Don't get me wrong. Although I did see a raccoon on the side of the street, and apparently raccoons are becoming more domesticated. They're domesticating themselves.
Oh.
Which is awesome, because I fully believe that in 10 years, if I can have a properly trained domesticated pet raccoon, that's the only way I can replace Miko.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard this statistic or not, but during COVID, there was so much less garbage being thrown out in the streets that rats, who are very much so not domesticating themselves, got into turf wars over the scraps that were actually being thrown out.
That'd be a great campaign to run, just the rodents of Toronto City.
Well, I mean, I believe the newspaper article was specifically talking about New York, but I'm sure similarly litter decreased in other major metropolitan centers.
Toronto wants to be New York in the same way that my school wants to be the other school. Where it's like, they'll be like, I'm awesome and great at my own thing. I'm like, why are you trying to build that bridge there? It looks really suspicious like this other city's bridge, like you want to be them. No! It's unrelated. Really, why are you trying to build your own Wall Street then, huh, Toronto, if you don't want to be them? Nuh-uh! Anywho. Shall we get into the game proper?
I mean, sure. Hopefully, the listeners find this episode interesting. We kind of did do a little build. We kind of did do a little build the character when I built Leroy.
Well, to be fair though, like if we do a build a character episode, the thing is, our early episodes did really well because I'm also like, now you can download our content or use this to learn how to play this game. So it's like, reminders of how to build characters are fine, but more importantly.
Right.
Like I said, I don't care if they listen to the episode. That's on them. It's a them problem if they don't enjoy it. Like, we were kind of talking pre-stream about a bridge series and things where it's like, I don't know if they're too corporate or this or that. My takeaway from that is people will give whatever reason they want to like or dislike something.
Fair enough.
And I do think we drive ourselves mad being like, we skipped character creation because of looking at the analytic download metrics and view times would probably not help us.
Probably not.
The more we care, the worse we would do. Not even the less fun it would be, just the worse we would do.
Yeah, probably.
But I digress. Character creation time. So.
Yeah.
I'm also going to open up my character creator with you so I can paint an imagination palace for our listeners. So, for context, we're using Daggerheart Nexus as our character builder. On one hand, it's like their official tool, linked together. It actually can link directly into Roll20, which is amusing. But on the other hand, making it pen and paper for Daggerheart is not that different. Like, I think if we were doing this in person, I don't know if we would bother with the online tool, but we play online. But the biggest benefit to the online tool, where most of my players in person also have an online copy, is if they spill a drink on it, or put notes on it, or do things, I can then, like, receive a link to that character and look and fix things. So, I like the digital tools, but I also fully understand why people be like, nah, I'm good.
You know, there is something nice about the tactile feedback of actually writing things down on a piece of paper.
Like, I also kind of understand the, like, desire to do both, weirdly. Like, here's my physical, like, to, like, make it in the character builder and then print it off is actually a really solid strategy, because it just exports to a PDF anyway.
So the first step of getting started with creating your character
is character name. So, for listeners who are starting here, I had my first player death of this campaign, and not my first player death of the week, which I will get to. But long story short, Daggerheart has its 3 options, and I had a pretty lengthy chat with a few of my players about this. They basically boil down to exit the scene, straight up gamble, or die in a blaze of glory.
Right.
And players like to feel challenged, and I find that players are avoiding the leave the scene because when I explained to them, oh, you can just not die, they almost like instinctively, due to gamification, refuse to ever use that feature. But really, every time you take that feature, you roll to get a scar, and if you get 5 scars, you die. So it's really more of, and I need to change how to describe it, of, would you like to use one of your spare lives? Because, like, mechanically, you can only go down between 5 and X number of times. Like, if you roll really well, you could go down an infinite number of times. But the odds scale, right? So at your current level, you would have had a 1 in 3 chance of losing a hope slot. And each level, the odds get higher that you'll lose a hope slot, and when you run out of hope slots, you just die forever. So I'm curious to ask you, if I told you, do you want to gamble, go into a blaze of glory, or use up a spare life, would that have changed your decision? The idea that you can't infinitely leave the scenes.
See, particularly in this one-on-one campaign, I want to be a part of every scene that I'm, in, and leaving the scene. On the one, like it does kind of feel like cheating because it's like, oh, you just have extra lives, and then also it's like I don't actually get to play out the scene.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't going to really show the scene either. I was just going to be like, you awaken several hours later in a daze in a bed. And then use that, like, held knowledge from you to mess with you, right? Like, I wasn't going to tell you what happened, because then you wouldn't know.
Right.
But I'm thinking about home ruling it that people just always take a scar.
Yeah?
What do you think? If you just knew that you would take a scar, no matter if, like, every time you went down, you would take a scar 100%, does that make that option more appealing?
Well...
Or would you rather gamble on taking a scar?
Well, okay. Obviously, a significant part of the game is rolling dice. So in my opinion, any option that doesn't let you roll dice
is bad.
I mean, the critical success option, the Blaze of Glory,
that one is just
really cool. Yeah, it is really cool because you just do something epic before you die, and you never die without purpose. You can die without purpose if you gamble on it.
You and one of my other players
I found out. But yeah, extending the scene just seems. There are definitely scenarios where I would take that option, like particularly if you accidentally died in a mundane fight that you weren't supposed to lose.
Well,
I would not gamble on that one.
I think part of it is the phrasing, right? Because it's like you're down and another player can get you up is like the game design intent, right? So I think I just wonder if part of it's phrasing. Like it's like you've fallen down. Do you want to take a scar, roll the dice, or go out in a blaze glory? Like I think it's, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it that people feel like more encouraged, because the idea is that like I think death by running out of hope is the most interesting way to kill a player in this. Like the idea that you've just fallen one too many times and you're done is like narratively interesting to me. Because like the longer character, especially since like once you take that third scar, you lose your hope feature. And you can get the scars healed, but I don't know. Sorry, you're saying like just leaving the scene is just unsatisfying?
Well, it's more like the scene that we were in, where I just stepped in the middle of a political meeting and just like threw names out and messed people up with my comments. It felt like I don't know how much of impact I would have had, but there was more for me to be gained by not leaving the scene.
Oh, okay.
Where, like I say, if you were like just fighting a pack of wolves and you had some unlucky rolls and your character gets downed by these wolves, leaving the scene would make more sense as a choice, because it's like there wasn't really much to be gained by gambling your life against wolves.
Yeah. Where when it
Uh,
came to, because I'll spoil a lot of how my current session's going while we're character building, so it's going to be a bit of a less live play episode, just cause. But
mm,
like, what's interesting is I had 2 players go down on the weekend. They were fighting
okay.
what was effectively a giant dragonfly. You may have recall when the
Mm-hmm.
balloons lit on fire in like session 2, you saw like the silhouette of a creature flying above.
Mm-hmm.
That thing finally got around to hunting them down.
Okay.
And one player went down and immediately like, I'm gonna roll for it. And it was like 5 of them fighting this dragonfly.
Mm-hmm.
And narratively, I thought it was fascinating that they chose to gamble, because someone could have just ran up with a healing potion on the next turn.
Hmm.
But they're like, no, I'm not gonna pick this not die option. That's like a coward's way out. I'm like, yeah, but conversely, if you went down and then another player used up their spotlight to heal you up, then the spotlight can go back to me. It's like kind of like how the fight flow works, where like a TPK can result because people kept trying to get each other up, because there's no healing word boomeranging really happening in Daggerheart. Because if you try and like, because just of how turn orders are structured, right, where I can just spend a fear to like prevent it.
Right.
And if you go down multiple times in a scene, those odds of getting a scar increase pretty drastically, right? Because if you went down 3 times in a scene, you would definitely, well, not definitely, because dice are be like that, but you could end up with somewhere between 0 and 3 scars, and you'd probably end up with 1.
Right. Well,
So,
like I say, for me personally, it depends on the narrative importance of the fight. So if this dragonfly fight was narratively significant and not just like this dragonfly found them and attacked them because they were in the wrong spot in the woods or something, then to me, leaving the scene makes more sense, because it's like you weren't fighting a boss, you weren't advancing the story per se. But in the case of Leroy, where I was directly trying to fish for information by dropping the names, like I say, leaving the scene, just that there was way more to be gained by gambling. But I wasn't in a position where Blaze of Glory would have made any sort of significant difference either.
where one of my players, the one that chose to just like roll the dice and lost, just kind of died. Where another player went down, but they were playing the Lyra equivalency on their campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't want to have like the small child that the plot's built around die to a random dragonfly in the woods.
So they chose to leave the scene then?
Yeah, so that's the one player left the scene. First time I've had a player leave the scene was the one playing a small child. And part of it, I think, is they just didn't want to make me murder a small child. So I was going to be brutal with it. But let's get into the character building aspect now that we've cocked a like of the death. Because I think the death mechanics are fine. Like, I don't think I need to make leave the scene more punishing it to make it more appealing. Which is funny, because it's like, I do think I need to stress that I'm going to start saying, instead of leave the scene, would you like to take a scar? Because then you still roll for it, like, and not mechanically change it. But I think I need to mention that it's not free, so you're still feeling like you're getting punished.
Right.
Because I think people might have been starting to like feel like, oh, if I could just not die, then there's no tension here, so I'm going to choose to make this more dramatic. Because, like, in your scene, for example, an NPC could have just got you back up next turn. Right? Like, there were characters available. So I guess my last question to you before we get back into character building is, if you were playing this with Taron as your other player, and they were playing, like, a bard, would you have still chose to roll for it?
Well, I mean, so
there's 2 of you in this terrible... The situation's still equally terrible, where you're like, oh shit, I'm like, this is a master clusterfuck, and I could probably die here.
Again, so, and then this one-on-one campaign, there hasn't really been any reason to explain that it's like, yeah, other players can still pick you up after you're potentially doing your death move.
Like I told you, like when you had your NPC with you, I did explicitly say a couple times, if you go down, they'll probably get you up. Probably, maybe.
But the idea that your teammates can still save you, I mean, that does make leaving the scene a little bit more attractive as well, because then you can not less gamble with it and actually more like you're guaranteed you won't die. But
Or it might increase the odds that you both die.
well, yeah. But anyways,
So, spoilers
poor
aside, you're
Leroy,
going to be building Lyra today, if memory serves. The little
that
girl you
is the
left for dead
plan.
on top of a mountain.
I had no choice. I left myself for dead in the claws of a giant eagle. So
There was many choices. They were fascinating. I want you to let you know that, like, I'm doing like a parallel world thing where it's not that your campaign and my other one are happening simultaneously, but I'll throw in Easter eggs. And they absolutely just saw a man pretending to be dead being held by an eagle flying north, and that's all they know about you. And they're probably going to find your head on a pike when they get to the village.
on a pike. Oh man, the cats don't like me anymore.
Well, it depends who owns the village. Also, it's a parallel timeline, so you never know. Alright, so
Anyways,
I'm going to say this now.
step
I
one.
am an English teaching assistant. Pronouns are real, okay?
Mm,
I hate nothing more than someone be like, I don't believe in pronouns. I'm like, shut up.
mm.
I can understand being like, I know personal pronouns, people picky, whatever. Put the letters in the box. That's how English works. So what pronouns would you like
Right.
to give this character?
Well, I mean, I just she, her is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny that, like, if people were going heavy into the neo pronouns, like, I'm going to go they, there, and your DM gets it wrong, also don't be a dick back to your DM if you're being too quirky with it. Like, DMs respecting he, she, them, they, that's all fair game. If you start being janky with it, like, I go by its pronouns, both sides have to treat it with respect or it doesn't work.
I agree.
Alright. Next is the
so
campaign
then-
frame button. Pick
Well,
the
yeah, actually,
Witherwild.
what level am I? Am I starting at level 3 or level 2?
You're starting at level 3.
Woohoo! All right. So pronouns, level, campaign frame. Choose the Witherwild.
I've noticed that the Dungeons of Dracame one has snuck into being on the list, and I'm just going to ignore that for now. Alright, so, class. As is rules with me, you can use this in any of the playtest classes as well. It's interesting to note that they've put out pre-orders for a book containing the refined playtest classes. I fill in the surveys for how playtesting goes for my players. But what class would you like to pick?
Well, so I mentioned off stream. Lyra clearly has a broken psyche, and I was going to use that to one side is the timid little girl, and one side is a rage-filled monster of sorts, kind of like the Hulk, I guess. And the Hulk, at least in D&D terms, would very definitely be a barbarian.
So this conversation was interesting because Guardian isn't one of my favorite Daggerheart classes because it's directly between fighter and paladin and barbarian paladin in design philosophy. Because unstoppable is just rage. Yes, it works mechanically differently. You have an unstoppable die, it takes down, but the key benefit of reducing damage by a threshold and adding the value of the unstoppable die to your damage roll, that is just barbarian rage.
Right.
And the subclasses of Stalwart is like a barbarian paladin mix, where Vengeance is like the most barbarian of barbarians.
Right.
However, Bloodhunter did come out as an option as well, which is about spending life force, and its subclasses are Ghost Slayer, Mutant, or Lycan. Your Hulk example, if you built the Hulk as a werewolf, that would actually work really well. Mechanically, you would just reflavor werewolf to being gray.
Right.
And likewise, if you played the Hulk as a mutagen, that would also work really well. And and the last option is the Brawler, which is their Wuxia, whatever. There's an X in there. I'm not pronouncing this well. I don't have a cultural consultant for this. Anywho, they are their unarmed combatant. But if you go for, there's the martial arts one, subclass that's about different stances, and then there's the Juggernaut, which increase unarmed attacks. You can unarmed attack 2 creatures. You can overwhelm them, and when you hit them, you can throw them close range. You could definitely make an argument for this monk, or this brawler, as it were, like a barbarian style brawler, would also work really well. Because Guardian's Valor and Blade, the defense domain and the stabby domain. Brawler's Valor and Bone, the defense domain, and like the rangery, skilly, tactician-y type domain. And then Blood Hunter's Blade and Blood, which is moving further away from what you're going for. Like, mechanically, the idea of, oh, my barbarians hurt themselves to be powerful isn't actually a barbarian thing, but it's kind of part of the barbarian fantasy. And there's always just a warrior.
Because Valor is the defensive.
Yeah, Valor is where a lot of the like barbarian-esque things are found. So Valor is where, for example, as I just kind of pull up the cards in front of me. Is where you get like bare bones, where when you choose not to equip armor, your armor score becomes 3 plus your strength and damage thresholds. Valor's where you have Body Basher, Bold Presence, Forceful Push, Surge, Goad Them On, Ground Pound, I'm Your Shield type stuff. So Valor is like, if you're to split Paladin into 2 sides, Valor is the take hits, and Splendor is like the Healy, where Valor for Guardian is the take hits, and then the Blade is the stabby. Where for Brawler, Valor is the take hits, and Bone is the move quickly. And if you wanted me to invent you a new class on the spot, you're like, actually, I want to be Valor and Blood. That'd be sick. It would take me a while to assemble. And then it would turn into a weird stream where I try and write a new class on stream. Which I would do, but like, dang. Throw me in the spot with no prep, see what I can do. Because we both know I will just make people new classes.
No. I'm pretty sure I want to go. You know, actually, I like the. I'm gonna choose the Brawler. I think.
All right, I think I sold you on my shenanigans.
The unarmed striker, because Valor is, as you said, the defensive line. So.
All right, so I'm gonna click the select class button for Brawler.
For Brawler, okay. So choose a subclass.
So, yeah, as I was kind of saying, Juggernaut is definitely your more like boxer subclass, where Martial Artist is your more martial artist subclass. And one of the things is you get to choose whatever trait you want to power your unarmed strikes.
No, I'm definitely going to choose the Juggernaut. That both sounds more thematically appropriate, and the idea that you just spend a hope to mark a stress on a character and thrill them. That just sounds awesome.
Right? All right. So for traits, this one's kind of interesting because like their recommended set is highest instinct with high agility, high strength. But when we look at like those class features, which I'm going to like pull up the class on my end and read things off to you. So it's kind of funny because like the playtest stuff doesn't show up like when I first click the tab. I have to like go into the sub menu to find it. So the powers you get as a brawler are decent starting evasion and hit points. You can spend 3 hope when you succeed on an attack to stagger a target and force them to mark a stress. When you're unarmed, you have +1 to evasion. Your unarmed strikes are considered a melee weapon. Use a trait of your choice and deal 1d8 plus 1d6 physical damage. And then your combo strikes power is when you make damage of a melee weapon before dealing that damage. You can mark a stress to start combos, you roll combo dice, and you just kind of like exploding dice and extra hits. We'll figure out the specifics when it fights. But the reason I bring this up is when you look at like your subclass features, they don't care about any of your traits. They don't really care what stat you use.
Right.
The martial artist Also, like, its stats don't particularly care that much. So when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
picking your stats, they gave it high instinct to go like more D&D monk. I would actually recommend for your style, I would probably put points into strength, agility, or finesse. Because I feel like if she's going Hulk Rage, strength is cool. But if she's going
Mm.
ballistic, like X-29 Wolverine style, then agility might be your highest stat. But you have a lot of flexibility for this class. But I would probably go
It is.
agility 2, strength 1, finesse 1, knowledge -1.
Finesse.
Or presence
No,
might be
agility.
the one I would drop because she's had a pretty bad interaction everywhere she's went. And you nearly threw her in a sack.
Mm.
Being thrown in a sack doesn't typically happen to high charisma characters.
You are right. Mechanically, I was thinking that I might actually go for presence, because while her normal timid character has had bad interactions, her alter ego
Okay.
is
So are you gonna just punch people with your charisma and just be terrifying? Is that the strategy? You're like charisma-powered martial artist?
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. And then also, it creates a character that's a little bit opposite to the character I had before.
Okay. With that underway, I think my new suggestion for how to spend this would be +2 to presence. I would still go +1 to agility and +1 finesse because they just naturally align with the kind of like
Mm-hmm.
things you would do as this class, like running through fields or hiding. And then I probably drop knowledge.
Well,
Or,
see, I was thinking about dropping strength.
oh, okay, that would work
Because
too.
just because,
Size.
like, she's a little girl, so she's not actually strong.
Okay. So.
And then 0 to knowledge and instinct, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
So for weapons, I would go down to the search bar and just type in presence. And you're not really going to use your weapons, but you have them. So I would recommend like just grabbing a whip and a rapier.
Fair enough.
And just to have because they're free, might as well.
Makes sense.
Likewise for
Whip and a
starting
rapier.
armor, I would probably grab leather armor. But if you end up grabbing a certain card, you'll end up unequipping it.
Leather armor. Okay.
I would go with a
Starting.
minor health potion or stamina potion. Really doesn't matter which.
A book about your secret hobby. No, hand wraps from a mentor.
So the hand wraps, I'm assuming, are from Leroy. And you can edit this item to be more specific and fitting.
All right.
So you can edit those hand wraps to being any momentum from Leroy if you want to go that route, or the book can be about anything.
No, I think the hand wraps are better than the book.
All right. So.
All right. So now the first level of domain cards.
I know what cards I want, but your build is not necessarily what I would pick. So I really like forceful push because you can forceful push and then spend a hope to push them even further and then knock them back to like medium range.
On a successful attack with your primary weapon, you deal damage and knock a target back to close range. Okay.
But conversely, bare bones is pretty good.
You have a base armor score of 3 plus your strength. Well, bare bones is good, except
right, not so much for this build. So, another one I actually really like for this one because you're smaller and like savage. Death maneuvers could be fun. Oh, untouchable and death maneuvers are both good picks.
Once per rest, mark a stress to get anywhere within far range without me. Okay, yeah, I like that one. And I think I want untouchable as well.
Excellent.
Ironic that I'm choosing 2 bone class ones instead of the valor defensive ones that you'd suggested.
Completely legitimate though, because it's like that's like the flexibility here of you're definitely not nearly as stat locked as you are in 5e. Like most classes.
Because the barbarian was very much very much multi-attribute dependent.
Right?
And then it just becomes hard to like same thing with the monk in 5e where it becomes hard to build a statistically unique character in
Where
those
like you
classes.
kind of caught me off guard here by being like, I'll use charisma as my main stat. I'm like, I actually didn't see that coming. I was expecting you to either go agility build, which would involve you grabbing similar cards to what you grabbed, or power build. I didn't expect charisma build. This is interesting. All right, so let's move into heritage.
Heritage.
So what I would recommend is instead of thinking about like this literally of what race am I, is more like what mechanically fits being the little girl, because the instinct to just click human is easy. One of my players for running this character, they actually went halfling because it just kind of fit well into like, oh, there's a little kid in your party and it gives your party extra hope, and they roll 1 on hope, you can re-roll it. Made sense mechanically for like being a kid in a fantasy setting.
Right.
Conversely, like, and like I said, I'm happy for you to click the mixed race option and then just name it like child. If you want to do something like, oh, I want to have goblin powers, but I'm not actually a goblin, like a half goblin, half gnome of like, oh, I have nimble fingers and I have quick reflexes would make some sense. But if you really want to lean into like the hidden power rage mode kind of energy, the playtest Aetherius is interesting.
Okay, so I mean, I'm on your
so you should be able
part
to
of your
see
campaign.
Under Ancestry, you should be able to see Aetherius.
No, unfortunately, I don't. Earthkin, Elf, and Emberkin.
That is interesting. Let's see. Wait, you see Emberkin?
And yeah.
So that means the void stuff is showing up for you, because Emberkin is like 4 down on the list. So you seem to have access to it. So go to choose an ancestry. So when you just click the box, what's the first one that pops up?
Aetherus. Yeah, with an A. I don't know. Is that what you were?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Okay. We have advantage on rolls to command or persuade, or but an ally within. Well, you don't want that hallowed aura, but hallowed aura.
But like the flavor of the radiant auras and glowing eyes. And hallowed aura would apply to any friendly anything. So for record, if I attack your boat, you can say, "Can I use my hallowed aura on my boat?" Or any NPCs. Like, it applies to all NPCs. And there's usually an NPC around you eventually.
Right.
Conversely, like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of options. Like, for example, Infernus kind of fits the way people have been treating you.
Infernus. When you roll fear, you can mark 2 stress to hope, or you have advantage on rolls to intimidate hostile creatures.
Yes.
Because which one was I just looking at? Oh, right.
Yeah.
The Dracona, your scales act as natural protection. If you would take severe damage, mark a stress to mark 1 fewer hit point. That fits right in with the idea of being resilient.
Okay.
And then Dread Visage. I mean, once creatures turn hostile from the Infernus.
I think that's a great combination.
All right, let's. I mean, uh,
I mean, you could just go full.
I I really like the idea of mixed ancestry with the Clank, but I don't know.
We can see how that could play out.
But
I think we
I
call
think
those
the
cyborgs.
so I mean, you've said that you have a lore reason for why Lyra appears. It seems to be older than she actually is.
Yes. But I
Um,
also said I'm willing to negotiate.
well, I mean, the idea of being part Clank, some sort of homunculus that was created,
Ooh,
and
I'll
then also
allow it.
takes a trait from some other. So not necessarily a robot, but a creation nonetheless.
So if you want Lyra to be a clank, and that's the information you give me, and give me free reign with that, I will do so much with that power. If you make this choice right now of being partial clank or full clank, I will run with that. You will be giving me gold to work with. I will not let you know why you're a clank. You can find that out as we go, but please make this choice. I like this choice.
Because I kind of like Clank Dracona.
Okay.
Where I take the efficient from the Clank, so I can do a long rest action instead of a short rest action, and then also the scales, which wouldn't necessarily be scales in this case. But,
I know exactly what I'm
be...
going to do with this. Yes, I approve this as your GM.
Okay. All right. So selecting.
So for context, your scale is your flesh repetrifying.
Ooh,
right?
Spicy. Select. Okay, but I guess my race is homunculus?
Yeah, let's go with that. That's fun.
Okay. Homunculus.
So, for community, Reborn would make the most sense, but it does literally nothing right now.
It was scales
and efficient.
All right, so choose a community.
So Reborn makes the most sense.
Yeah, okay, that does just make the most sense. You were a part of community but no longer remember it.
Mechanically is you pick whatever group you happen to be with in session. So like if you're in the Catfolk village, I will tell you what Catfolk community ability you get.
Okay.
So that's option one. But another option is Wanderborn or Wildborn. Both seem really appropriate. Wildborn seems really appropriate right now. However, it's also particularly funny to pick Ridgeborn because you're left on a mountain.
Being a part of this community means you've lived as a nomad, while you're going a permanent home. Nomadic pack. And pull out a
Wanderborn by far has the best ability. People online will be like, well, this one does math, this number. It's like, no. A Looney Tunes backpack is the best power. And if it's not, you're simply not putting enough thought into it. That is easily like, a lot of them are like advantage in mountains or stealthy in the woods. I'm like, Looney Tune bag's just the best one. Just buy a lot.
Yeah, I rather, okay, so what does the, once per session you spend a hope to use an ally's community ability. If you do your ally into hope, you discover a community you weren't a part of, you can use that one permanently instead.
Like, I do think Wanderborn is mechanically more fun for you.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I guess you have access to all the community abilities, but the idea that it's like I can just change my community, but I don't, like, you would tell me what I get from it, but it's like that just feels like I have to know a lot more.
Fair enough.
You know? I do like Wanderborn or Wildborn.
Warborn's not too
Just
bad either, because your hometown was ravaged.
when attack would cause you to mark a stress, you can spend a hope instead. Actually, I kind of do like Warborn
Okay.
because again, it fits into that natural resilience of being like she's a small child, but she is unnaturally tough. I think I'm gonna go with Warborn. I do like the Looney Tunes backpack, but Warborn seems
good.
thematic.
All right, so I will let you pick any one of these transformations if you want them, but I don't think you're gonna. So every one of these transformations gives you a cool power and some downside. Like Reanimated, you can only clear hit points if you have access to remains from recently deceased creatures to absorb their body parts. But when you risk it all on a death move, you fail, you lose a hit point instead. And get back up.
Or when you permanently mark a hit point to succeed instead.
That would have been more fun for your last character, admittedly.
When you roll a failure or fear, you must mark a stress or give the GM an additional fear. Your advantage die is always to be 10 into it. I don't know how often you get advantage.
Pretty often.
Vampire. No, it's a strength roll. And werewolf.
For vampire, I would easily let someone switch out that strength roll with any other roll, though. Because I disagree with that design choice of vampire, bites, or strength. I'm like, that makes more sense for charisma than martial arts does. You can absolutely talk someone into being bitten. That's the entire vampire romance genre. I read Midnight Secretary. You don't need strength to make a vampire bite.
Mark a stress to feed. Hit point. You can spend 5 tokens before an action roll to make your fear die d20. Why would you want your fear die to be a d20?
Because because you add your 2 dice together for how big the roll is. So you can roll up to a 32.
Right. But you're also far more likely to give the
Yeah, but you're also far more likely to hit your target or succeed at your dice roll.
Yeah.
A success with fear is better than a failure with hope. Because remember, if you fail, I still get a turn.
Fair enough.
And also, yeah, you can roll a 32. Which will probably successfully pick a lock.
I am going to choose werewolf.
Actually?
Although...
Shit. Alright. Call my bluff. I assume you're not actually going to make it a wolf form, though. Or are you?
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be a wolf form, no.
Alright, so you'll be able to mark 1 or more hit points to enter your form. Well, and we'll decide what the form is when it comes up. Alright. Man, Frenzy's hilarious.
Frenzy? Oh, yeah. If you mark your last stress, you
attack everyone near you.
Roll a number of d20s equal to your tier. Automatically deal that much physical damage to all creatures within very close range.
For a solo campaign, that's amazing. For a party campaign, there's an obvious downside to that. Like, you definitely called my bluff. I didn't think you'd actually pick a transformation. I'm on board with this.
I mean, I don't know how often I'm actually going to transform.
But you have the power.
Having a transformation, I have the power, right?
Right? Like, that transform is cool, too, because you mark the stress, go into mode, deal extra dice, and then when you gain hope, you get stressed instead. That's hilarious. Not when you gain fear, it's when you gain hope that it stresses you out instead.
Yeah.
Alright.
D10 wolf die. Attack. Yeah. Pretty savage.
Alright, next is experiences. So
Experiences.
these ones always can take a while. Sometimes I'm like, people can just leave them blank until something comes to them in session. I'm tempted
Right.
to have you put abandoned on a mountain.
Abandonment issues.
Yep. Just because that's
I'm
just such
gonna
a
take
fun, huh?
I am gonna take abandonment
That's just such a fun thing to be like, do
issues.
my abandonment issues apply here? It's just a fun sentence.
Um, hmm. And then for a second one, abandonment issues and social pariah. Yeah,
Nice.
that's what I'm gonna go with for now.
Nice, nice, nice.
For, I don't really care about the background questions or connections. I don't think.
Nah, we can kind of fill these in as they come up. But like,
All
these are
right, and then
definitely.
the last thing.
I think the ones that are worth filling in are probably the additional Witherwild question. No, we'll leave all this blank. We can figure it out as we go.
Okay. So, one of the weird things about the Nexus, the Heart Nexus, is the campaign frames don't don't create the additional connections questions.
They do. They're just not where you think they are. If you click answer
Uh,
background
are they-
questions and scroll down,
No, I don't see them.
oh well, we'll leave this blank for now. But I am seeing them on my end under answer background questions.
Yeah, I don't know. It could also be that I'm part of your campaign and it just isn't just a glitch with how the thing is done for players or something. But
But the last thing we're going to do on this audio-only character building podcast is argue in real time over tech issues.
right.
All right, so now you get your next experience.
My next experience. Oh.
Is it bad? My suggestion to you is girl in a crate. Your ability to hide in crates.
Girl in a crate, and we'll go with that for now.
And like I said, these are up to negotiation. The level up options are the fun one. You'll notice you have a special one at the bottom for increased combat dice. Combo dice.
Oh. Well.
So for a reminder of how combo strikes work,
Sorry?
is once you roll damage with the weapon. Oh, sorry, once you hit with the weapon, but before you roll damage, you mark a stress to start a combo. You roll your combo dice and gain its value. Then you roll it again. If the value of the second roll is equal or greater than the first one, you then roll it again. So, like, hypothetically, you would go and do a punch, right? You would mark a stress to start a combo. You'd roll your combo die. If it gets a 1, you would roll it again. If it's a 2, you'd roll it again. If it's a 3, you'd roll it again. And then you add them all up. However, if you go mark a stress and roll your combo dice and it's a 4, you have to roll a 4 again to keep it to hit twice.
Right. Well, I think for level 1, I would probably choose increase evasion. Or, well, for level 2, I would choose increased evasion and increased traits.
That is where I would go as well.
Because I want to increase my presence and I want to increase my agility.
And then
I do get to choose a new
card.
The level 2 ones, strategic approach. Equal to your knowledge, while not super knowledgeable. Ferocity. Adversary to mark hit points, you spend 2 hope to increase your evasion? The number of hit points they marked until the next attack is made against you. Bold presence, that sounds thematic. When you make a presence roll, you can spend a hope to add your... Well, that's...
That's funny.
That's funny.
The body basher and bold presence are not on your side.
Wow. No, they are not. They don't expect you to go anything other than strength.
Which honestly is fine though. Like that's why there's enough cards that's not a problem really. Because you can take ferocity solid for you. Strategic approach is okay. And you can still grab things from lower levels, too. Where I see it coming is also pretty good.
Knowledge, minimum of 1. The first time you move within close range of an adversary, make an attack against them. You spend a token to choose one of the following options. Attack with advantage. Clear a stress on an ally, or add a d8 to your damage roll. Well, I'm not. My knowledge is 0, so I just get 1 token. But dealing that extra damage would be neat.
Yeah, I personally would probably either grab ferocity or I see it coming. But strategic approach is interesting.
When you're targeted by an attack made beyond melee range, you mark a stress roll d4 and add your evade. Yeah, I think I'm going to say I see it coming. All right. Level 3. So I can't increase my evasion. I could increase my traits. And I feel like I do think that increasing HP is going to be important.
I have that feeling.
Increase the combo die used for combo strikes.
I think increased experiences is the least commonly picked one, but it's actually really strong.
That is true. But maybe I should just increase my traits again.
Give yourself some more knowledge. Because you kind of want knowledge now. Tell you what, if you really want to, I would be fine with you going back and, like, grabbing your point from finesse and moving it into knowledge instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Okay.
But I will increase my traits again. And I'm not allowed to increase my presence.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed to increase my agility. Well, if I'm not allowed to increase those, then maybe I actually want something else.
I mean, HP and stress are both good to have. You can also grab 2 HP.
Can you?
Yep.
Huh. But no, I'm going to go 1 HP and 1 stress because there does seem to be a lot of opportunities for you to mark stress with this particular class. And then as my level 3 options for my cards, Body Basher. Wow. Valor is all about the strength.
Well, that was still a level 2 one you're looking at.
Body Basher?
Yeah, that was level 2.
Oh, you're right.
Now your options are...
Lean on me, which I don't need. Critical Inspiration. Don't need that one. Wow, okay.
Brace lets you use 2 armor slots on an attack.
I kind of like that one, I think. But let's... Or there's Tactician. When you help an ally. Well, that's not... I mean, I guess it could be, but... when you mark an armor slot to reduce in damage, you give the GM... Wow, okay. So... Brace...
I don't know where that other version of Brace
variation.
showed. I don't know what this Octarian Brace is even from. I've never seen this card before in my life, but I'd absolutely let you take it.
You do like fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Octarian Brace, which when I mark an armor slot to reduce incoming damage, I can give the GM additional fear to mark any number of additional armor slots.
I'm just saying I actually don't know what that card's from. Like, I think it's like coming from an upcoming book or something.
Well, I'm going to take that one because I think I have too many things that give me the mark stress already, so the regular brace is not going to be that great.
All right.
And with that, I think my character is...
All right, let's play for a bit. I still have you for half an hour more.
All right.
So, you've had a rough few days, as you were chased out of a town accused of witchcraft, left abandoned in a river, and then shoved in a crate, hidden in a false bottom treasure chest. Just chaos and savages, a village full of zombies. And as you find yourself on top of a mountain, watching your protector carried away by a giant eagle who tried to shove you in a crate, you realize something. It's cold, you're tired, and you're on top of a mountain. What would you like to do? And describe what you look like to our viewers.
Well, I mean, my assumption, since I am a homunculus, but I don't want my creator, whoever they were, didn't want me to stand out. My assumption is that I'm just a little girl, a human little girl, that just with black hair, pale skin, probably like just over 4 feet tall.
Okay. So, as you stand here on top of this cliff, you see that you're near the top of a mountain, and down the plateau a bit, you do see that there is engraved sigils in the walls. And you see the stony peaks that pierce the clouds with the twisting path winding its way over and through the switchbacks as you go through the top of this mountain range. You're expecting toil in supplies and staminas, but you are fully rested. You've taken a long rest.
But so the gist of this is that I have to find my way down this mountain now.
It's less you find your way down and more you've made it to the top of this, like, to this mountain range, and now you're heading through the mountain range south. So it's like this one mountain kind of goes down over to the next mountain. Like, you go through a series of mountains to get where you're trying to get.
Huh. Do I see any signs of the giant eagles?
Go ahead and roll a instinct roll.
Okay. I guess instinct roll 19 with hope. Woo-hoo.
You don't see any eagles. You do see the raptors. You don't see you see an abandoned raptor's nest that looks like it would have been where eagles once lived, but the icy winds up here seem to have repelled them to move further south.
I see. You said that I can use whatever trait I'd like for my...
Yeah, somewhere there'll be a little pop-up box for that. I don't know where.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out later, I guess. Anyways, so no signs of the eagles. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just start heading south, because I gotta try and find my protector.
Is that what you really want to do? Does that guy mean anything to you? Tell me about your thoughts on Elroy.
On Leroy. Elroy is the bad one.
Correct. In character, you know this. Maybe.
Well, that is a good question. He was a strange fellow for sure. But not really certain what his true face is, because he kept changing forms so often. Must have been some sort of shapeshifter. But he was the first person who was nice to me, and I okay, so I have abandonment issues. He was the first person who was nice to me. So it doesn't really matter whether or not he was a crook or a villain, or if he tried to shove me in a sack. He brought me with him, and he protected me as best he could from all manner of terrifying creatures and spirits. And um, I just I don't think I can handle being abandoned by him. I got to find him because like being alone is scarier than being with someone you hardly know.
All right. As you continue to head through the various rocky lodges the existing pythons climb through, down and around to a bridge that effectively there's a massive valley below, and this bridge
Mm.
connects these two relatively high rocky plateaus.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to simply walk across this bridge? It's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna walk across the bridge. Yeah.
With each step, you feel it creaking and twisting as the frigid, icy wind picks up, cutting into you. You cross through
Mm.
this bridge, you go through the handholds, and a couple days pass going through this treacherous mountain path, mostly uneventful. And you find
Okay.
yourself having effectively made it through and climbing down, where the rocky landscape returns to the woods.
Mm.
You're relatively lost. You have a vague sense that you were, as part of your group, heading to the south and trying to avoid the thick bog-like swamp area and the exploded
Mm.
town and river.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But you do seem to be just, I'm not going to say lost in the woods. It isn't as bad as what happened to poor Leroy being dropped off by an eagle.
Mm.
But you are back in the wilds alone again, with, I believe,
Back in the
5
wilds.
more days of night left.
Hmm. 5 more days of night. But let's see. Well, I mean, it would be a waste of time just to. Who knows where Leroy could be, and why would he leave me like this? This is terrible. Um, I need to search for signs of any humanoids that might be able to help me because this now that I've gone down the mountain, I'm getting like sick to my stomach with the idea that he just left me here.
Go ahead and roll a knowledge check for me.
A knowledge check. Roll 7 with hope.
Oh no. So, as you're trying to find any signs of life, humanity, through
Hmm.
the switchback area where the rocks and the forest meet, you do see that looks like not so much fresh footsteps, but like a trail that seems to like cut back into the mountainous range heading back up. Not to the intent of the mountain you just climbed, but it does seem like there's a trail people have been following up through a cliffside on the outer edges
Well,
of the
I mean,
Witherwild.
I've just got to try and climb that.
All right, go ahead and you tell me what do you roll to climb.
I'm going to use agility. Now that I've found people, I'm super excited to hopefully find someone who will accept me and jump up there.
All right,
Agility.
go ahead and roll.
Would my abandonment issues apply?
I will allow it.
Roll 25 with hope.
So, much like
Very
Kakashi
hopeful
with
today.
one arm tied behind his back, parkouring up the side of a cliff, this is
Hmm.
starting to become like second nature to you, as you manage to. It's not so much like a ridiculous, like sheer rock climb, so much as following like a relatively rocky trail.
Mm.
But once you get to the top of this cliff, you see what looks like a chapel of black stone.
Mm.
It looks like it's a ruined chapel, once dedicated to a goddess or local deity. Now shattered, its arched windows, frames, and keystone remain. you see flocks of raven. No, you're looking more like a... No, they're humanoid. Like a flock of raven humanoids seem to be gathered around a small campfire.
Hmm. Um. So, can I feel like these people look like they're a little bit like outcasts and downtrodden.
A little bit. You see one
Um,
has a bow next to their side. You see that there is 5 of them. 2 with bows, 2
uh,
with swords, and 1 that looks a little more self-important than the others.
hmm. Uh, well, you know what? No, I'm gonna try and hide and kind of like sneak up and see if I can listen in on them.
Go ahead and roll a finesse roll for me.
Hide. Let us roll. 13 with hope.
So as you just blend into the surroundings, you smell incense in the air, and you kind of hear them singing in a bird-like voice. It's like a clue, 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 as they're grilling what seems to be some sort of possum bear over a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you get little bits of chatter, but like, you're not like getting like conspiracy or things. You're just kind of getting like coworker banter, like, how's the weather? Sure is weather out here. Ugh. But they're mostly just kind of sitting in silence, humming to themselves.
Hmm.
Go ahead and roll an instinct roll
Uh,
for me.
uh, instinct reaction roll or
Yes.
instinct reaction roll? Instinct of 7.
They don't seem hostile.
Hmm. Well, I'm just going to leave them to their business and see what's up with this abandoned-looking chapel.
All right. To get into it, you kind of would have to like go within 5 feet of them. They're camped out on like in front of the front door, or you could try and go through one of the broken windows if you prefer, or
Yeah,
any
I'm going to
other
try and go
route you
through one
tell
of them.
me.
No, well, okay. So what kind of like do I just actually have the basic supplies like
Yeah,
the rope and the
yeah, and I can assume you probably grabbed some climbing pythons during your climbing adventure.
because like are there upper windows or
Yeah, it's about 2-story. It looks actually very similar to that church you nearly bought in Swift Current for size and metrics.
anyways, I'm gonna climb up to the second story if I can and try and go through one of those windows.
With the equipment you have, easy enough. So as you go through,
Mhm.
it feels warmer in here. Like it's almost like it would have centralized heating, even though it doesn't seem to be. But
Mhm.
as you walk in, it feels like something or someone is watching you. Not the guards outside, but like
Oh.
you feel like you're being watched all over your body as like goosebumps cover you. Go ahead and make a
Oh.
instinct reaction roll, please.
Instinct reaction. 11 with hope. Well, no, hope doesn't matter.
It's so weird. It's like the songs outside are like blending in with instruments sourceless from nowhere.
Oh.
Alright. As you are in this place, which feels present, like there's a force in here.
Hmm. I see. Um. Okay, so I'm on the second floor. Um, do I see any religious paraphernalia?
Nothing that seems like... This place seems like it's been abandoned for a while, like going into an old job site. So like you do see like
Hmm.
scuff marks on the ground and like a barrel, but it seems to be largely empty. Like this place has been thoroughly
Hmm.
looted over the years.
Okay. Okay.
See, some jerk just left a cup
Uh.
here. It's just a chipped cup.
Okay, so you know how in video games you'll like sneak around in a barrel to try and like get through places without being seen.
Uh-huh.
Um, is there like a eye hole in the barrel that I would be able to use, like flip this barrel over and try to use this technique to
You
sneak
can
around pretending to be a barrel?
you can certainly try. I have no problems with
Uh,
you
would
attempting this.
would girl in a crate apply?
Yes. Obviously, yes.
Okay, so what do I roll for this?
Question: What were you expecting me to say other than yes? And does my crate ability apply to hiding around in a barrel? Did you think I would say no to that? Like, did it occur to you that I would be like
I'm
no because it's the wrong geometric shape?
just double checking.
Okay, like you did nothing wrong here, but go ahead and roll. I'm gonna say finesse or presence, your choice, because this could just be just straight up. Everyone knows Solid Snake's in a box, but he gets away with it through sheer shabazz.
I'm going with presence, and girl in the crate applies. 18 with hope. Ooh.
You have no issue sneaking around this temple in a barrel. So when the guards occasionally come and do their rounds, look around, they just see a barrel, and then you move some more. But to what end? Like, what is the objective here? Because you were already spying on them, then you snuck past them and go into this temple, and now you're a barrel. What is step 2 of this
Well,
plan?
yeah. I mean, step 2. I mean, I'm wondering if this is like a cult type thing. And I'm kind of looking for like signs of maybe they've been doing rituals or like signs that they've been holding people captive here. Like, you know, like I think they don't seem hostile, but at the same time, I'm a little bit worried that they are themselves social pariahs.
Alright, have you
And
roll
might
an
be doing something
instinct roll
nefarious.
with advantage, because you've been spying on them casually all day.
And my social pariah skill
Yeah, I'll
experience
allow
would
it.
apply.
Sure.
Instinct roll with advantage.
I'm surprised you haven't ran out of hope yet, though. Because all these experiences you have to pay a hope to use.
That's true, but I keep rolling with hope. So
Alright, fair enough. Let's roll.
critical success.
Oh, damn, you also clear a stress on a crit.
Well, I haven't been stressed out. But...
Yeah, but just know that you would have. I remind people of things. It's my job. I'd love to live in a world where I don't have to give out reminders of game mechanics. That would be a truly majestic world to live in, but it is not reality. So, with your critical success...
Well, I also gain a hope from that?
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm just double checking something in my notes here. So, it's not that these are pariahs. What they are is their remnants. So as you're aware, when Haven invaded the Witherwild, many people who naturally lived in this area were displaced, put to work in the farms, giving education, sometimes by force, by being taken away from their families. There was a lot of complexity to their quote-unquote invasion that happened.
Right.
Here, this group, they seem to have, this temple, as you can tell from the damages in your time here, was attacked at some point and looted by Haven soldiers, while these guards were out on patrol. You see the little graves that were set up for their other members? This congregation probably had about 20 or so avian folk who used this as a base of operations, but only a few, like only less than half were there at a time, because it was basically like a pilgrimage rest point, like a spiritual truck stop for these crow-like avian beings. So these ones returned to find their comrades dead and are keeping a vigil, but they used to send people out to get supplies, to trade, to go on pilgrimages. So these ones are kind of stuck here now, because they're hesitant to leave this holy site, but will sneak away one or two at a time to like get supplies and trade. And it looks like this temple used to be a place of healing, and that's where like, they'd get their income from, but their healers are all dead.
Ah, bummer.
And it seems to pray to the deity of the north wind.
The deity of the north wind. Oh.
Which you can't really quite understand their name for because it's bird noises. But you do see that inside of the shattered statue that is holding a single quartz eye that's cracked.
Oh.
And the inscription below him says, "Light to those that seek the truth."
Light to those that seek the truth. Huh. Well. I think I'm going to try and sneak back outside.
No issue. You have barrel tactics.
And then I'm going to drop out of stealth and approach the guards.
They draw their bow, and then one of them looks at them like, "Really?" And there was like, "No, you don't know." Just from their gestures, you get the idea, like, "Really, you're gonna draw full bows on this little girl?" And they're like, "No, we probably should."
Excuse me. I've been lost. Trying to find my way through the woods, and I just been looking for somewhere to rest and someone to give me directions. Can you help me, please?
Girl. They lower their weapons, and one in the middle says in very broken common, "Come, sit. We have food, not good. Can share."
I will sit with them at the campfire.
He gives you mostly water, stew. There seems to be like a parsnip in there, maybe. It's adequate. As they sit, and they don't really talk to you much. They're just kind of like, "Come in." They're one of those people who are like, "Well, it is our creed that we have to let people in. Doesn't necessarily mean we want to, but we kind of have to."
Do I remember where Leroy was going? He was going to Allura, obviously.
Yes,
but, like...
you do know this. I can safely assume you and Leroy talked during your like month-long walks. So I will assume that through casual conversation, Lyra has been informed about most things.
Do you gentlemen know the way to Allura? My friend was traveling there when we got separated.
Allura? Allura. And one goes, what one's Allura? What do you know about this place?
What do I know about this place?
You know that it's a wildling village, largely of catfolk, 7 days south, near a large tree by the end of a stream.
And just that it's a village of catfolk, about 7 days south from here. But I've lost my sense of direction, and I don't know how to get there.
So I'm
scared to travel the woods alone.
Catfolk? And like, you just see them be like, you know the reaction people get where you're like, "Oh, you're going on vacation, where are you going?" You're like, "Edmonton." They're like, "Ugh." Like, it's not like dislike of the village of Allura. It's more like, "The cat village? Boo." One of them looks at you and goes, they look at each other, they look at their like bags of wares, and be like, "I could go with you to cat village." So begrudgingly, like,
that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
With the countenance of one of those street preachers going, "Hey, you had a church. Can Jesus buy me a meal?" And they like kind of have to, like, they kind of have to give you shelter and food because they're as part of their tenets, even though they don't particularly like humans or want to help you at all. They're absolutely willing to. And they goes, "We'll head out at dawn."
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
And since you spent like 2 days fucking around this place, dawn will be in 2 days.
Okay.
So what would you like to do for the next 2 days of downtime? As you see, they're spending this time like drying leathers and preserving meats, and like, You see, like, 3 will be here and a couple will go out into the woods and then just come back with, like, food and supplies and things to prepare for this pilgrimage.
Yeah.
You enjoy the one
If
that
I go
plucking
back in,
feathers out of the other one when they're not looking, going, ah! And then, like, fletching an arrow with it.
if I go back into the temple, do I feel the watchful eye of whatever presence was there?
You do.
I do. Um. Well. Hmm. I and like, are there any, there doesn't seem to be any like religious texts or anything in here that would help me learn more about this god of the northern winds, eh?
You do find, like, there is some, like, you don't really recognize the language, but there's the odd, like, chipped mural carved in, the central statue. It's interesting because, like, it is a holy site, but it's less of a monastery and really was designed to be, like, a checkpoint on the way to somewhere else, like a traveler's house. So it's more
Hmm.
set up like a weird combination of a church and an Airbnb. Because you do see, like, the sleeping enclosed and, like, a bathroom, like a shower area, like it seems to be like largely set up for travelers. But what's funny is you notice that the
Right.
bird folk aren't really using the amenities inside it. They're more camped out outside of it. But will, like, go in to check out and,
Hmm.
like, they'll go in and, like, clean things up and then go sit back outside.
Hmm.
So they could be inside hiding where it's from the shelter, but they seem to be choosing not to.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go back outside and I don't mean to intrude, but I'm just wondering, why don't you stay inside the temple?
Our job, as they're struggling to find the right words, our job is to help travelers travel. We are not travelers, so we don't get the blessings of travelers, because we use this place as home. We were supposed to be travelers. We can use the temple again when traveling. When I come back, I will be welcome in the temple after escorting you, because I will be a traveler again. But for now, we're not traveling, so we stay outside.
Hmm. Um. Okay. Uh. Well then, I'm going to go inside and just take a nap in one of the encloves.
All right, make an instinct roll, not a reaction roll.
An instinct roll. 23 with fear.
Perfect. As you begin to sleep, you feel like the eyes of the temple on you, but they're kind of warm and soothing. If you were injured, you would absolutely heal to full HP by sleeping here.
Mm.
But also, you see visions of sorts. It's like looking from above as you're, like, flying past and going through the trees. You see Leroy bargaining with the Bone Fairy, lost in the woods. You see him escaping the eagle's grasp and running from the children of the eagle, leaving it to die. You see him fishing by the lake with the catfolk, and then you see him violently stomped to death by tables and chairs as you wake up while your eyes are wide open.
Oh dear.
So
That's
you do
not
see
good.
before you in rough flashes the path to Allura. But you did see Eroy being stomped to death by a table.
Well,
So what does it feel as you are touched by this vision? What feelings linger after the images have passed?
Wow, like I have some serious abandonment issues. I'm actually the feelings of anger, but not at the people who killed Leroy, but at Leroy for abandoning me and then seemingly just dying without me. Why? How could he do this to me?
Well, you saw him being attacked. You didn't necessarily know for sure. You saw him being brutalized, but you're not sure he died.
I mean, that's true. But I do get this stinking feeling that I'll never see him again after he abandoned me, and I am angry and must at least try and find his corpse so I can yell at him, like it's or wherever he may be. I gotta find him to be like, hey, you can't just nearly die on me or die on me like that. That's not.
And as the rage courses into your veins, the morning comes, the sun finally begins to rise, and you as your unnamed bird friend begin to be escorted to the town of Valora. That is where we'll wrap up today's session. Nothing jumped you and tried to kill you. Many things wanted to, but nothing succeeded.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, so how'd you feel about that session as we wrap things up here?
I was definitely waiting for something to jump out and kill me, or try to.
She had a bad enough day. You almost had to fight a minotaur on the bridge, though. There's a dice roll involved whether or not something jumped you on the bridge.
It was eerily peaceful. I mean, like I said, I was expecting to be jumped by something, or that like the crow people would be unhappy, would be hostile, or that like whatever presence was in the temple would be evil.
Oh, there's a lot of things you could have done to piss off that temple and piss off those ravens. It was extremely easy to have to fight the ravens. Or have to fight the temple itself. There's literally a checkbox on the temple that says, because the temple has a stat block, a temple. When the PCs have trespassed, blasphemized, or otherwise offended the clergy, you can spend a fear to summon a high seraph and 1d4 bladed guards within close range of the senior priest to enforce their will. What symbols or icons do they bear that are appointed agents? Who leads this group and what leads them to this calling? So I had a the temple tries to kill you button. There's many ways the temple could have tried to kill you. You just didn't happen to break any of their tenants. You mostly just sat there for 2 days doing nothing. Which
just
was
watching,
correct.
making sure that they weren't like cultists or something.
No, they were just protecting this temple. But there's a lot of ways that you could have ended up being Leroy. Also, the fact that it summons a high seraph, a tier 4 creature, is insane.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I definitely would have been Leroy.
I don't think it would have done anything itself. It would have just been like a massive crow god in that space telling you I should probably get out of here. Because it wouldn't have been able to chase you out of the temple. But its powers include spending a fear to make the target guilty in the eyes of God, and while guilty, you don't gain hope on results of hope.
Oh.
When an adversary succeeds on a standard attack against a guilty target, they do severe damage instead of their standard damage.
Oh my.
This thing is mean.
Oh, there's the unarmed. Okay.
But the guards themselves aren't particularly terrifying. Like, it's a seasoned guard with a knife, a whistle, and a billowing bird-like voice. The only difference between these guards and normal guards is they can fly.
That pesky ability to fly.
Yeah, he's literally just an archer guard with the flying power added to it. So you could have probably taken all 5 of them, admittedly. Although they would have surrendered after the first one was beaten. Like, for context, the archer that's accompanying you has a DC of 10. His thresholds are 4 and 8. He has 3 max HP, 4 max stress, and +1 to attack.
Oh.
And his experience is local knowledge, and he can make a hobbling shot.
I probably could have taken that guy.
Oh, absolutely. Like, especially if you, like, waited... I thought you were going to wait in the temple till one came in and just jump him. Like, they just go to check the barrel and just gets beaten to death.
Oh, no. See, Lyra's not in angry mode yet.
Indeed. But I was also hesitant to dive too deep into combat because there's a bunch of mechanics to learn, and we had a limited time frame. So it's more like this session was to set up the next one to get things going in medias res.
Mm.
and not have the
That
entire
makes sense.
party TPK'd by a firefly. And yeah, like, so the last session I ran with the other group, they ended up going down the coast to Allura and stopping on like 4 locations Elroy never did.
Okay.
Which is great for me because I just get to use those locations next time we play. If you
Mm-hmm.
end up there. So it's interesting that like I tested the city of Allura before my main party got there, so they still have to get there next
Mm.
session. But for them, I
Right.
tested the things you're gonna go through on your way to the place you've already been.
Mm.
It's interesting because one group fast traveled there and the other one slow traveled, so there's just like I'm weirdly prepared right now. It's pretty great.
That is pretty great.
And I'd ask if you had questions on your new class, but you won't really know that till next session.
Well, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, I
Did you
think.
find the button to set your armed attack? I think it's under like class
Yes, I did.
features.
Class features, brawler, they let you set your unarmed strike trait.
I am really
It
curious to
defaults
see.
to strength, but
It makes sense that it defaults to strength. I find it funny though, because I've complained at length that 5e does like poisoning to design spaces,
mm.
and I find it funny that the stats defaulted to like having high wisdom. They're like, oh yeah, you're gonna build this with wisdom.
Mm.
Wisdom monks only make sense if you're casually racist. Because, like, the idea of the Oriental mentor with ancient wisdom is a racist trope.
Right.
But also in this case, it's like, if you're physically trained, and your strength comes from being physically trained, and the 3 stats are agility, strength, and finesse, why instinct?
Mm.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's always kind of been a pet peeve of mine for, like, monk design is monks have no reason to be a wisdom class at all.
Right.
And, like, even looking at the cards they give you as a brawler in this, you would gain nothing. None of those cards would have benefited from having those +2 instinct you start with.
Mm.
They would have benefited you at, like, the stats that your cards actually interact with are agility, knowledge, and strength are what the cards were saying they cared about.
Right.
So, like, if you built a strength +2, agility +1, finesse +1 brawler, that would just, in my brain, work better than if you put your +2 into instinct.
Mm.
Because your unarmed strike would use a scale on a different stat, and you'd be better at, like, reading people, but you wouldn't be better at parkouring.
Right.
I just thought it was interesting. What do you think?
This monk version definitely, I do find it interesting that the valor class is so directly dependent on strengths.
I wasn't expecting that myself, honestly. Because it's not like I have every card memorized. Like, I have a rough idea of most of them at this point.
But I feel like you just have a lot more freedom. Like the monk class, everyone hated on the ranger, but I think the monk class is one of the most poorly designed 5e classes, at least in the 2014 edition. I haven't really looked that much at the 2024 edition, but like it's just so hard to create a different monk. But like you say, it's like, why wisdom?
Well,
Like,
like, the thing about
why couldn't it be something else?
Well, it's funny is for the 5e monk, too. The problem I had with the
Mm.
monk, and this is a weird thing for, like, D&D classes, is I don't like classes that self-optimize. So for the monk,
Mm.
it's not that playing a monk is ever bad. It's that, no, you put all your points in dexterity and wisdom. What's a feat never matter. And you really, like, almost every monk ends up having the same build, because, like, an open hand monk with max dex and wisdom with some kind of elf is just correct.
Right.
Or what's interesting about Daggerheart's design is, so as you mentioned, there's more strength things in Valor than I thought there would be.
Mm-hmm.
Which Valor is used by barbarians and seraphs, so like, yeah, it makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you lost out on anything from losing out on those options, weirdly. Because bare bones, at later games, you only get to have 5 cards out in your loadout at a time, right?
Mm.
So the slot does become more relevant later.
Right.
So bare bones wasn't particularly good. Forceful push and I am your shield both worked fine. Body basher kind of sucks that you can't have that one. Bold presence kind of sucks you can't have that one. But a lot of your options were lost because we're running a solo campaign, not because of like being locked out of it because of strength.
Right, right.
So you lose out on 2 abilities that are vertically strength. And then on bone, I find it funny that the bone uses knowledge when it's the skills used by rangers and I'm blanking on the other one that uses bone. It's like rangers and fighters or something.
Mm.
So it's amusing to me because it's like you're not going to have knowledge normally, and I think that's a good thing to have an occasional ability be like, oh, but if my fighter's smart, I actually have a use for it.
Right, right.
But I did take like the effort to like spy on all your upcoming abilities, and nothing else seems to
Mm-hmm.
really care about strength.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I think it was like it's kind of carbo loaded at the start there,
Mm.
but most of the skills I'm looking at going forward, there's like one at level 8 that involves a strength roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the only other one I see here that straight up uses strength is one level 8 ability.
Mm. Well, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Although, I will say for a few of them, like if you're like actually, for bold presence, when I make a present roll, can I add my agility to it instead? I, as a GM, would almost always let someone swap out a slot if it makes sense.
Mm.
Like
Right.
Body Basher should probably give a bonus to your damage roll equal to the stat you rolled with your weapon.
Right.
Because if you tried to argue, why can't I use agility for Body Bash, I would let you have it in an instant. Because, yeah,
Mm.
why
Mm.
can't you use your speed to tackle someone? That's a good question, guy. I don't know, I just find your build really interesting, and I'm curious to see how quote-unquote good it does.
Right.
Because it doesn't feel like your build's going to be worse at punching things than if you were a strength, but also now you're good at talking things, which is definitely relevant. Even if you can't ground pound as well.
But
I think we should.
unfortunately, I do have to get going. But
Yep. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. Thank you, Karl, for dying so we can keep trying out new classes. It would be funny to watch you go
mhm.
through every class as you always choose death. And happy gaming, stay hydrated, and such. Goodbye.
Bye.